Oh, yeah, it's happening. We've spoken about this. I told you this day was coming, and it's getting here much quicker than people had anticipated. What's happening over in China right now is happening at neck breaking speed, and it's going to affect the entire world. That's not an exaggeration, that's a reality. Sooner or later, something was going to trigger this worldwide economical crash. I told you it felt like we were slipping through the fingers of this planned event. It looks like it's happening too fast for them to be prepared for it. Protesters outside Evergrande right now. They have bigger problems than that. And if you don't think it's going to affect the markets over here, I'll show you.
Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Oh man, I hope everybody is prepared. So we have been monitoring what's going on Evergrande for quite some time. But it isn't just Evergrande, China. China is going bankrupt. Protesters starting to speak out. This is bad for the CCP. Good for us, of course, if it does happen that way. Evergrande is collapsing, and they're taking everybody along with them. Banks over there right now are preparing for, you ready for this? Bank runs. Yeah, everybody running to the bank and pulling their money out. They don't trust what's going on. And what I tell you happens at a bank run. Everybody runs to get their money, then all of a sudden, magically, you get what's called a bank holiday. It's not a real holiday. All the banks close, and they refuse to give you your money. If the situation's really bad, you know what follows it? A bail-in. Remember what I told you happens to a bail-in? That's when they take all of your money, and you become a shareholder in that bank. Yep. And if they can pay you back, they will. FDIC, get over it. Did you guys not pay attention to what's happening in the news? The FDIC chair resigns after warning Democrats launching hostile takeover. The FDIC, you know the people who insure you? I told you there's something going on. It's called the Great Reset. All they're doing is jockeying and putting themselves in position to hold firm at these departments so they can screw over everybody. It's a big event, you guys. It's going to happen. And I've been making this suggestion now for well over a year that if you have an IRA account or a 401k, that you should be putting at least 25 to 30% of your money into precious metals. If you haven't done it, I don't know how much time you got. You can take my advice or not. It's up to you. But it's happening. It's affecting the markets around the world. The Democrats are putting their people in there. We know what happens when the Democrats get in control of something. Yeah. Hostile takeover. She said a hostile takeover. This organization is supposed to be independent. They don't have enough money, you guys, to pay everybody if a bail-in happens. They have enough money in there to pay everybody according to, what was this, a year and a half ago? Maybe $1 each. That's how much you're going to get paid back after in your insurance. Why is that? Because they pay the derivatives first. You know, the banks get into all these little screwy schemes and they invest in stuff they shouldn't. And then they lose the money. And remember, we did a bailout, and they were like, "Oh yeah," and everybody raised hell. And then Obama's like, "Well, we promised never to do that again, and we're going to pass a law protecting you." And then they made it against the law for people to do a bailout, which is taxpayers bail them out. Instead, though, what they did, because they were really nice, and this is what they do. This is typical of the Democrats to get in trouble for something, act like they're there to protect you. Pass a law that looks like it's protecting you, only to find out in that law is something that screws you. Yeah, in that law that prohibits bailouts, they allow what's called a bail-in. That means depositors, people who hold money in the bank, they take your money. I did a video called Lessons from Cyprus. If you haven't watched it yet, I've spoken about it a million times and reposted it. They just took the people's money. Now, those people were able to get their insured money back. Their insured level is $150,000. This one lady lost $6 million. They paid her back $150,000. That was it, because that's all was insured. Everything else, gone. Now, for those of you going, "Oh, well, that's no big deal. I have less than the amount of the insured." You don't get it. You're not getting anything back. When you go to get your money, they limit. So they'll do a bank holiday, keep everybody from panicking. Everybody's going to run on the ATM. They're going to drain them. There'll be no money in there. Then they're going to say, "We restored the ATMs. You're allowed to come back to the bank, but you're limited to how much money you can get every day." It's going to be somewhere around whatever the max is, $300. That's it. That's it. So if you got to pay bills, feed your kids, you have an emergency, oh well. Oh well. Too bad, so sad. This is why I said, hey, you should probably calculate out 6 months worth of bills, add 10% and take the cash out, put it somewhere safe in your house if you can. If you could do more than that, I suggest you do more. Maybe up to 12 months. We have no idea what's coming. We can only guess. Everybody's predicting doom and gloom and total chaos in the streets. And we already know the supply chains are affected. Why? Because these idiots kept the ships off on the shores instead of allowing them to come in. And they put everybody on lockdown due to the RONA. And workers didn't go. Now they pay these people more money to stay on unemployment than to go to work. Don't tell me this is not a planned event. It's planned.
Moving on now, China's top real estate developer, Evergrande, is reeling under a financial crunch. Their investors are getting pulled down with them as well. Hundreds of investors protested outside cash-strapped company office as they fear being sacrificed in a bid to keep the company afloat. The disgruntled crowd shouted and asked for their money back. At least 60 protesters were contained by the security personnel. This is the real estate giant announced to repay its investors, which was irrespective of when their investment matured. They decided to repay over $1,000 per month in its wealth management products. It was to be done in principal payment for 3 months starting from this month.
Now, what Evergrande is doing, see, because there's a lot of American funds that are invested over there. And here's the kicker. I did a video to tell you that when Evergrande was failing, our funds were investing more money into the bank, trying to keep it afloat. And whose money are they investing? Yours. So this is how much trouble we're in. This is from January of last year. This is only of last year. You can see here the United States foreign investment into China totals $258 billion. That's this time last year. It's way more higher than that now. That's how much exposure we have over in China. Here you go. Take a look at these mutual funds. See the names of them? Don't be fooled by this jump right here. Don't be fooled at all. Mutual funds, if you are invested in any of these, they are invested in the China Evergrande group. When this company collapsed, whatever you see here in the green, if you have green, you could look at this. You're going to see a drop red. It's going to be like 20, 30, 40, 50%, 60% drop in red. Look at these. Take a look real close. Pause the video and you take a look to see if any of these your 401k or IRA are invested in. If you're not sure, you need to call your 401k manager and ask if they have any investment into Evergrande. Because if they do, yikes. I keep suggesting that you guys take a look into this. This is just part of it. Some of these aren't even reporting any movement. I wonder why. Evergrande was removed off the stock market yesterday and told to stop selling shares. Evergrande, like we are invested in them, they are invested in us. So here's the chain reaction. You see, Evergrande needs money. They need liquidity. So what do? Well, they sell their investments. And they're invested in some of our biggest companies. So when they sell their stocks to get money, what do you think happens to those stocks? Well, they flood the market. What does that do? It causes the values to go down. If it goes down too much, it causes a panic. And then people in the United States start selling their shares off. Do you see how this works? And then people around in other countries see what's going on and they go, what the hell's going on? They panic and they start selling their shares off. And it causes a chain reaction. Then what happens is if the stock market drops too much, then they shut down automatically. You can't buy, you can't sell anything. They do that hoping calmer heads will prevail. They'll come on, pump you full of BS on the news, tell you that everything is fine, hoping you calm down, and then they reopen the market. And if all goes well, they'll do all they can to artificially pump the market up to make it look like everything is rebounding. But if people are too panicky, it's not going to work. Again, take a look at these mutual funds to make sure you're not invested into them. I'll leave the link so you guys can come and check on your own right below in the description. Evergrande has been ordered to demolish 39 buildings. Before it was 10, now it is up to 39 buildings. Why are they demolishing these buildings? Well, that's because you're going to find out that people invested money into these shells. That's all they are. They're not real apartments. You see, they never intentionally want to build the apartment. People pump money into it as an investment. As the investment matures and the value of real estate goes up, then they earn money, then they turn around, they sell it, and the next person buys this shell. That's why you have all these little abandoned looking buildings. The investors want the empty buildings. They want the apartment complex. I don't know if Evergrande's going to give it to them. So what's happening? Oh, they're being ordered to demolish the buildings. Well, what does that do, Pimpy? That's a good question. I'm glad you asked. Well, if you're demolishing the buildings, you get rid of the assets. There's no way for anybody to inspect the buildings and bring this up. This will stop it from becoming worldwide news, but it's too late. Most people already know about this. Once the buildings are down, then you can have some other development company come in and claim they're taking over. And they're going to rebuild new buildings. And it'd be a good time to invest in them. I think that's the trick. That's the route that they're going. Either way, Evergrande is going to have to sell. They're already selling properties, trying to get liquid. They're already selling their stocks, their holdings in other companies. It's already happening right now, today. If you think that's the only problem, you're wrong. China's smallest firms filling at historic pace as 4.37 million close up shop and registrations plummet. Businesses are closing. Sound familiar? Because we have that issue here. This is what the big reset's about. Putting small, medium companies out of business. Having everything merge into just, Walmart, Amazon. Do you see how much control these people want over you? You can't allow this to happen. But first, they got to make you so desperate that you're hungry. You need work. You need food, your kids, everything. You'll have nothing and be happy according to them. But they're going to come and be your savior. Yeah, you see? They're going to give you that digital money in the form of a universal basic income. Where those God-hating politicians are definitely pushing everybody right into this little event that's happening. Now, I think it is out of control and it's happening faster than they're ready for. You can see that countries around the world are expediting, trying to turn around and get the central bank's digital currency out as quickly as possible. I don't think they're ready. I think this is happening at a much faster pace than they have waited for, and it's going to backfire on them. Gold and silver holders, woo, I know we're going to be sitting back on, thank goodness, we're out of the system. Plus gold and silver is going to go up. Keep in mind, at first, it dips with everything else, so don't panic and don't sell your precious metals. I know you're going to feel desperate. Make sure you're not in a position where you're so desperate that you have to sell it, because you're going to kick yourself in the ass later on when it rebounds super quick and then takes off. Ex-finance minister said the official economic indicators failed to paint accurate pictures of the economy, and publicly available data did not show how many firms vanished. I love how he says this. The ex-finance minister said that the economic indicators failed? No. Just like us over here in the United States, they're manipulating them. The indicators have always been there. Hell, they're there now if you know what you're looking for. They just keep lying and artificially changing everything. They misreport the unemployment numbers. So if you run out of benefits, they then turn around and qualify you as employed, even though you're not. What you need to look at is how many people are in the workforce. Big difference. The stock market's artificially being pumped up with quantitative easing. It's a lie. It's a farce. Now they're trying to do tapering, or they're going to do tapering and raise interest rates, which are two indicators that falsely give us the impression that the economy is recovering. And that's why they're able to do this. Don't fall for it. It's fake. So China is already collapsing. They're going bankrupt. It's going to start sending a domino effect everywhere. If we could get past this year, I would be more than shocked. This is why you've seen central banks for the past 10 years stocking up on gold like it's candy. And especially over these last couple of years, they've really been stocking up. This is why you see them smashing down gold and silver prices. Take advantage of the low prices while you can. With property sales plunging, China Evergrande faces more protests. It's not just Evergrande, you guys. It's the top 3 real estate developers all collapsing. And what do? Well, they got shares and we're invested in them. And what do they need? Liquidity. And how do they get it? They sell their investments that they have in us. It's a domino effect. To show you that it's just not over here in China, remember I showed you this. Look at Turkey. Their currency is collapsing. Venezuela, collapse. El Salvador, collapse. Zimbabwe's currency, collapsed. Our currency, you're being lied to. It doesn't have that purchasing power. And want me to prove it? What are they reporting as inflation numbers? 6.5%? No. They're lying to you. Everything is going up because your purchasing power is going down. So when you see the value of homes going up, people are like, yay, my home's going up. Well, actually, it's not that your home's going up in value. It's that the purchasing power of the dollar is getting weak. So it takes more dollars for them to make up for the lost purchasing power. See how that works? People are saying, Pimpy, I was thinking about buying a home. I said, well, if I was you, because it's not my place to tell you what to do, but if I was you, I would wait. Because when the market drops, home costs are going to be somewhere 40-60% cheaper than they are right now. And at Lessons from Cyprus, what did we hear from a lady that was in real estate? She said, over the first night of the bail-in, the properties dropped 20%. That was the first night. By the time it bottomed out, it was like 47% altogether. And keep in mind, Cyprus was only the testing grounds. That was a planned event. You can see here the S&P's down, what's that? Oh, about 0.38%. Nasdaq's down 1.47%. Russell's down 0.74%. And of course, the Dow falsely pumping that bad boy up. Gold, what a rebound. It's starting to move. Look at $1,823. Silver, $23.14. People are moving from riskier assets into safe havens. Don't get me wrong, they're going to try to knock it down again. As a matter of fact, there was a rumor they're going to try to get silver down to $10. Why do you think they're bringing the prices down there? Because that's not the real value. They're trying to store up on it as much as possible. Those evil so-called elites are jerking us. Cryptos, they started to make a rebound the other day, slightly down today. Not a biggie, nothing major. Doge is now at 16 cents. Shiba, where you at? 4032. I told you it doesn't really move very much. That's the one thing about Shiba that's impressive. Bitcoin's at $46,192. Ethereum's at $3,787. Solana's at $165. Cardano's at $1.31. XRP's at 82 cents. Polkadot's at $29.33. Satoma, people are selling off, trying to grab this. So Satoma got up there. It was 7086. So what happened is now these people are dumping out of panic because, Satoma's been down for a little while. It was up there. People are just trying to grab what little amounts they can get profits off of before, and then they drop it. We see this happen all the time. So do I worry about this? Nah, not at all. Over the last hour, it's down 7.2%. Over the last 24 hours, down 11.8%. But over the last 7 days, it's up 52.9%. And on the 14-day average, it's up 43.6%. Over the last 30 days, on average, it's up 55.3%. It'll rebound. So they hold down gold and silver as much as possible. This is why you should take this time to take advantage of it while you can. The prices are really affordable. You guys know, head on over to Money Metals. They have competitive pricing. You know this. I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be able to keep afloat here. I really don't. We've been talking about a market crash of unbelievable proportions coming, and it somehow continues to go. The feds have not even raised interest rates yet. Once that happens, the market, what happened last 2 times, it just dropped. And then they had to turn around and put the interest rates back down to 0. I think this thing is getting out of their control. As much as they are trying to avoid it, I don't think they have a choice. They're going to have to revalue gold. Hopefully you guys have been listening all this time, have been investing in silver, investing in gold, protecting your 401ks, protecting your IRAs. I'm hoping that's what you did. I told you what happened to people in 2008. This is going to be the same thing. Some of you guys remember that. You're young enough to, or you're old enough to remember that. People are going to get out of risky investments, stocks, bonds, cryptos. They're going to be running over to precious metals. That is God's money. Came out of the ground. 6,000 years of recorded history with precious metals. That is what everybody has always run to. That is real money, not this paper fiat money. Anyways, you guys, I just thought I'd bring this to your attention. I hope you guys are positioned and safe. I hope you guys are able to go to the bank, take out your money, have it somewhere stashed so that you're safe. Because when they do a bank run, you're SOL. There's nothing wrong with being over-prepared. What I'm hoping is, hey, we're all prepared for this and nothing happens. I'd rather it be that way. No bank run, no collapse. Everything is fine. Peaches and cream. We continue to be prosperous according to what we see on the fake paper market. Anyways, that's it, you guys. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel. I surely do appreciate it, and I'll catch you later. I'm out.